we're going to practice writing equations in point slope form. And that's the goofiest form. It's the hardest one for me to remember. But it's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So remember there were usually three things filled in here. We filled in the y coordinate, that was the y1. We filled in the x coordinate, and then you filled in the slope. So blank is the given point. That'd be the x1, y1. That's a comma in the middle, that looks goofy. And then m is the slope. So we'll do both of these together. 2, negative 1. Again, think of it like a fill in the blank problem. Y minus our y coordinate is negative 1. We'll have to clean that up in a minute. Equals m is 3, and then x minus our x coordinate was 2. The only other thing you're going to want to change is if you have minus negative, like that minus negative 1, just change it to plus positive. Y plus 1 equals 3 times x minus 2. Great! I'd say try this one. We're just going to do it together right now. Y minus our y coordinate, which is negative 7, we'll fix that soon, equals 0 times x minus our x coordinate is 8. I'm going to change the minus negative to plus. And we're going to leave it like this. Now you might be thinking, well, 0 times that is 0. That's true. And then you would just have y plus 7 equals 0. But leaving it in point slope form like this would then, if we were given this equation, we could figure out how to graph that point from the equation. Whereas if stuff's just cleared out, you couldn't graph it in the form that it's in. So just leave the 0 for now. Use the point slope form, then rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form. Ooh, this is where it gets fun, folks. So if we were to rewrite example 2 here in point slope form, that'd be y minus our y coordinate, which is the 4, equals m times x minus our x coordinate, and the x coordinate is 1. This is a vital skill once we get to like parallel and perpendicular lines. This is very helpful. So you're always going to do the same steps. You distribute the slope, so it would be y minus 4 equals 2 times x is 2x, 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And then we just have to get y by itself to get in slope-intercept form. I see a minus 4, cancel that out with a plus 4. But do it to both sides to keep it balanced. Y equals 2x, and then negative 2 plus 4 is positive 2. Nice. So let's try it again, and then you're going to try one. Y minus our y coordinate, which is 6, equals 1/3 our slope, and then x minus our x coordinate is 0. So if we distribute that 1/3, we'll have 1/3 x, and then 1/3 times 0 is just 0. So you don't need to write that. One more step to get y by itself, we would just add the 6 to the other side. Y equals 1/3 x plus 6. Now do yourself a favor, pause the video and actually try out this problem. See how you do. I'm going to start going over it now, but try it out on your own. Y minus 0 equals 1, and there's x minus 1. Y minus 0 is just y. If we multiply this by 1, it just remains the same thing. 1x minus 4. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad at all. Alright, given 2 points, write in point slope form, then in slope-intercept form. First thing we're going to need to do, we're filling out point slope form. They're giving us 2 points. We need to find the slope. Find the slope. Reminder, the slope formula is m equals, you could say rise over run, but what they want here is like subtract the y coordinates in the numerator and the x coordinates in the denominator. We'll pick one point to sub into the x1, y1. and then we'll have it in point slope form. Now you can use either coordinate when you're doing that. I'll show you both ways actually work out to the same slope-intercept form. It's kind of cute like that. All right, so we're gonna try it here. I'm just seeing where we're at here. So we're gonna do these two, and then there's one for you to try. First thing we have to do is figure out the slope. We subtract the y's in the numerator. Our two y's would be 12 and -2. It doesn't matter the order you write them, as long as you're consistent with the order with the x's. So let's say I wrote 12 first. 12 minus -2. That means in the denominator, when I do my x's, I have to start with the 5 and do 5 minus the 6. Remember, we changed minus negatives to plus positives. So 12 plus 2 would be 14. 5 minus 6 is -1, and then you simplify that. 14 divided by -1. Our slope is -14. We can use either coordinate, and again, I'll show you it with both coordinates. Let's say we're using our first coordinate, 5, 12, and the slope is -14. So y minus our y coordinate, 12, equals our slope, -14, times x minus our x coordinate is 5. There it is in point slope form. Let's also write with the other coordinate, 6, -2. So it'd be y minus -2, which we would change to y plus 2, equals our slope, -14, times x minus our x coordinate, and the x coordinate is 6. We're going to get these into slope-intercept form. They should say the same thing when we're done. So if we distribute the -14 there, y minus 12 equals -14x, and then -14 times -5 is +7. I'll do the same thing on the other equation. I'll distribute the -14, y plus 2 equals -14x, then we have another negative times negative, so that'll be positive. 14 times 6, I believe, is 84. If we're trying to get rid of minus 12 here, we would add 12 to the other side. That would give us y equals -14x, and then 70 plus 12 is 82. Over here, we would get y by itself by subtracting 2 from both sides. Y equals -14x plus 82. Oh my gosh. Same thing. That's bananas, dude. Bananas. So we'll do both equations for this one as well. Now when you get to the you try part, you can just do one of them. I'll show you the work for both of them. We do need to figure out the slope here. Our y coordinates would be 2 and 0. Doesn't matter the order you write them. Let's say I did 2 minus 0. Just be consistent in the denominator. 1 minus -1, which really becomes 1 plus +1. So this would give us 2 minus 0 is 2. 1 plus 1 now is 2. So our slope is 1. So we'll drop that into both equations here. If we're using the first coordinate, y minus our y coordinate, 0. Equals our slope, 1, and then x minus our x coordinate. So it would say x minus -1, which would really change it to x plus 1. We'll come back to it. The other coordinate, 1, 2. Y minus our y coordinate, 2, equals slope, 1, and then x minus our x coordinate, which is 1. There's the point slope version for each coordinate. We'll simplify it, we'll get it into slope-intercept form, and hopefully, it's the same equation. Y minus 0 is just y. If we distribute the 1, if you multiply by 1, it stays the same, so it would just be x plus 1. Woo, I hope that's what this one works out to. Y minus 2 equals, again, if we distribute the 1, it just remains the same, x minus 1. Now we have to get rid of -2 by adding 2 to both sides. Y equals x, and then -1 plus 2 is +1. X plus 1, x plus 1. Holy cow, we did it. Yeah! There's one for you to try. Please try it. Don't just copy down the work I'm about to do. Give it a try, man. Pause it, try it. I'm going to start working up here. by a fraction, you just multiply it up top. 4 times 6 is 24 over 5. Ooh. Ugh. For now, we might be able to turn that into a decimal. I'll show you a way when we get to standard form that you can clear that, but I'll show you both ways. Here, y plus 8 equals negative 6/5 x. Here again, negative times negative is positive. 9 times 6 is 54 fifths. Now, feel free to turn those into a decimal. 24 over 5 would be 4.8, and then you can subtract the 2, 2.8. Here, 54 divided by 5 is 10.8. Subtract the 8, 2.8. Same thing. But let's try it without doing that. Let's multiply and clear out the fractions. The common denominator would be 5. So this would give us 5y plus 10 equals. And remember, if you're multiplying by what's in the denominator, it just cancels out the denominator. So this would become negative 6x. And then plus 24, because the 5 is going to cancel out. Alright, we'll come back to it. Let's say I did the same thing on this one. We'd have 5y plus 40 equals negative 6x plus 54. We would then get rid of what's with the y. So on this one, we'll subtract the 10. 5y equals negative 6x plus 14. And then this one, we can subtract the 40. 5y equals negative 6x plus 14. And then on both of them, we would just divide by the 5. Divide everything by 5. And you can't simplify that. So it'd be y equals negative 6/5 x plus 14/5. Or like we said earlier, that was 2.8 if you had it in decimal form. And this is going to work out to the same thing. Sorry about that. Kind of threw you a curveball on the U try problem. Whew.